Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI F1.5 Championship. We're today for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in sync with the finale of the Formula 1 World Championship. But this is round 12 for us. We are still going to have more races after this one, of course. Next week will be the France Grand Prix, where we haven't been for a while. Reese goes across the line as we're on board 42.0, so a bit of a mistake. Mizzy currently tops the times with a 24.1. Zingy, welcome. This circuit night race, as Reese goes round, it is a night race, which does make the track temperatures a little bit cooler. It's also quite difficult on downforce. How will that affect the strategy today?
The strategy today, I mean, you say it's a night race, which obviously makes the tyres colder, but in a way this track's so demanding on the front tyres, which it doesn't really matter, so it's going to be very difficult to keep those tyre temps under control, as I know that multiple people were struggling, so yeah, it's going to be tough looking after those medium and hard tyres. I mean, the strategy's obviously going to be the same, there's not much difference. However, they will make it to the end, but you need to be, if you got a rougher setup, you're going to have to be cautious, because this track can keep tyres up like breakfast.
Yeah, for sure. It's a pretty tricky one, the traction as well. Like this turn right now, turn 9, it's extremely difficult on the throttle. With the softs, they can get pretty hot, so you probably won't see many people using it, unless of course we get some safety cars in the mix, as Reese does go for another spin. Unfortunately, as I was saying, the softs are extremely difficult. Very, very creative way of getting out the way, and that is, very well done there from Reese, so thank you very much for that one. On board with Cohen now, as they are starting their first timed lap of the session. They may have gone out before, but they might have invalidated that one. This is their first actual run, which they'll try and set a lap time in. Going very, very quick in time trial, as always. Going to look to try and take a win. Let's see what's going to happen. I do quite not know.
Yeah, Cohen coming into the middle sector now. This braking zone is very difficult. You can't touch the curb, otherwise you will lock up and go wide. Coming through the chicane now, you're going to lose the traction if you're not careful, and it does a little bit there. Coming onto the DRS straight, you want to hug it inside, but not too much, because there's a little bit of a bump there, which will cost you quite a bit of time. And now this is the new part of the track for 2022. You want to keep it sort of to the inside. You can miss the apex a little bit and keep the minimum speed up. And now coming for the last sector now, this part's also changed. I don't know if it's on camber or off camber, I'm not too educated on that, but it's very tricky to get the throttle down. Coming out of one of the last few corners now, you want to keep it as close as the wall as you possibly can. Cohen does an alright job of that. Flying through the penultimate corner into the final one now. Fourth gear, you want to get on the accelerator as early as you possibly can. Try and hook it on the curb if you can. And Cohen is set at 23.9. That's a great lap. Yeah,
lovely one to start the session. They've still got 10 minutes to go. One thing about a qualifying lap around this circuit specifically, because it's quite a different circuit in the first and second sector, and then the third sector is drastically different. What I'm talking about is downforce, of course. For a race setup, you probably want to go lower, but that's going to mean that you're going to have to lift through the turns 2, 3, and also 15, which is the penultimate corner. Whereas if you go for a slightly higher downforce setup, you won't need to lift, and that is going to definitely change some of the lap times during the qualifying sessions. It's something that we're going to have a little look out for. Later on, of course, I think that's Robbo going on their lap, and I think they just got a tie from their teammates, so the Mercedes drivers working together nicely here to try and get towards the top. Mizzy, of course, in P2 at the moment, Robbo on their lap, so they're going to time it nicely again for Robbo to get to give Mizzy a tow for their lap. So that is very, very well timed with the Mercedes. Let's see if they can try and challenge for pole, and that is Robbo. So close to going off track limits right there. That is absolutely incredible. They've got to be really careful through the final few corners now. Extremely technical. You can really lose the car on the off-camber part, but they go almost, pretty much over the track limits. I don't know how it's not invalid there as they come around the final corner. What's it going to be for them across the line? And it is going to be a P6, a 24.9. So that is an interesting one, quite a way away from where they would usually like to be. Of course, Mizzy will have a run here, and they're probably going to get DRS from their teammate.
Yeah, Mizzy really helped Robbo there coming into turn one. Mizzy goes a bit wide, but keeps actually track limits available for some reason. I don't know why that is. But nonetheless, coming through into the tricky turn 5, which is usually one of the first overtaking zones, if you want to have a little lunge. But obviously it's qualifying for now, and you want to take out a nice little wide line like Mizzy done there to start the corner, and on exit, fly out, and now he's going to get the DRS and slipstream from his teammate Robbo up ahead. He's going to pull out the way nicely, braking around 100 metres now into the chicane. You want to keep 4th gear if you're feeling it. You might want to go 3rd down 4th to get that extra rotation. Now with the DRS, you want to fly down straight. As previously mentioned, there's a little bit of a bump at the start of that straight, so you want to stay to the right hand side a little bit more. Now into the middle, exiting the middle sector onto the last one, you want to really hook the car around here, keep the minimum speed up so you can get that traction down nicely. You want to hug the inside there, which he's done lovely, and then you want to try and hook the car on this first curb, and then try and not touch the curb there, and he kind of has a little bit, but it hasn't compromised his run. He's kept it very well through there into the last few corners, and he's invalidated. Oh dear, he's invalidated on the penultimate corner, and he can't get into the pits. He's going to have to go around again.
That is so annoying, so annoying. But yeah, still a very, very good effort. The penultimate corner as he invalidates and just misses the pit lane. It is what it is. It's how the game is played, of course. Cohen is on an outlap to try and challenge once again. We'll go on board with them in a little while. Gilly, this guy's going to be in an interesting situation. Of course, the final sector and parts of the first sector, pretty much the first sector, is extremely difficult for their liking of setups usually, as we know, but they are extremely good when it comes to the second sector because of their straight line speed dominance. Now, we'll see what they can do in the race and how many overtakes they can make, of course. That will be a question. But on a lap now with Gilly, 24.6, and they want to try and push themselves up. They're going to have to go about 2/10, is that right? Near enough? Maybe even 3 to try and get ahead of Larlock, so they got a lot of time to find here. The championship leader right behind them is about half a tenth away, more or less, in P6, so they've got to really try and do something about that as well. A lot of time to be gained here for these guys, but Curran is doing a very good job. Heischl up to P2, I didn't realise that. They've recently set their lap time. No, they haven't. They said it a while ago, and I just didn't notice. Very, very close margins between the two Dutchmen at the top of the times right now.
Well, they're at the top of the times at the moment, but Gilly in the middle sector, as we expected, is going purple. But this is going to be the sector where he loses quite a bit of time coming through now, and he's... Oh, it's a bit laggy for me, my apologies, but he's kept it nice through there. And he's going to try and run it out as wide as he can, close to the wall. Don't tap it though, otherwise you'll lose a bit of time. The penultimate corner, he keeps it within track limits nicely. In the last corner, you want to run as wide as you possibly can, get the accelerator down nice and early. It's a 24-0, that's a really good lap from Gilly, keeping him in that fight for pole position.
That is awesome, and it would be a really good place to start, of course, with their setup styles, as we often talk about, but we'll have to wait and see if it does go to plan for them. Cohen now, are they starting a lap, or is this going to be their lap? I think it's going to be their lap as they go around the final corner. What's it going to be as they cross the line? And it's going to be, obviously, pole. Another 4.5 tenths quicker, almost half a second. So Heischler now has to gain a lot of time if they want to challenge for pole here. And that does mean there's a massive margin between Gilly now. I'd say massive for the setup kind of style, as I'm saying once again. It's probably going to change a little bit. That's if Gilly can get a clean first lap, of course, opening lap, to get onto this straight right now and try and challenge for some early moves, that is, of course. We're going to go on board with Robbo now as he will go down the DRS straight. This guy has had some very, very exciting races, I will say, recently. So hopefully he can have good races, again, keep having good races, but hopefully they can just, I'm not saying calm down a little bit, because we want some good racing. It's just, there's quite a lot of controversy, drama after the races. It's definitely creates us some entertainment, so I won't say it's not the worst thing in the world, but Robbo, still a very good driver, don't get me wrong, of course. It's just, let's see if he can try and get to the top. And I'd ideally like to see no safety cars towards the end at least to try and help that, but Robbo does make a mistake in the final few corners and he's going to have to get the car rotated. Moving out the way, no, moving in the way of the McLaren in the end, so that wasn't ideal. Benjamin does invalidate, so he's going to be furious with that one, makes it to the pit lane. I don't know if that's why he invalidated or not, I'm not quite sure. You can't be sure, of course, until later on, but Robbo going to have to go around again if they want to improve. But yeah, I think that they can still try and challenge for a win here. Let's just see if they can do it and try and maybe close the championship gap if they possibly can. We are starting to run out of rounds though.
You say about Robbo, it's brilliant in the championship, but there's someone that you're missing out here. Yeah, I mean, he's so far ahead that you can't even see him coming. It's Cohen. Cohen, he's a bit far behind in the championship. I don't actually know exactly. I'll have to search it up in a minute or two.
Give it 114 points.
Oh dear, never mind. Right.
Really retiring in the not final sector. That's Nifo's car. Sorry. There's Larlock spinning. Says Gilly retired in the pit lane.
Gilly maybe either didn't have enough tyres or does want to maybe save a set of tyres for the race, because I mean you never know. It's Abu Dhabi. Safety cars are potent around here, so to speak. So there might be an opportunity near the end of the race. He might have a fresher set of soft tyres. And I know it's going to be like an hour until the end of the race, but maybe that might be the deciding factor. You never know. I mean, the small things can have a massive impact.
Yeah, for sure. Heischler is on the lap. We'll stay on board with Larlock, although actually they made a mistake on that lap, of course, so we will go on board with Heischler as they're about to start probably what is their final lap, unless they need to do a cooldown lap, of course. Their final lap will begin right now, as we're going to see, can they possibly challenge for pole position here? They've got a lot of time to gain if they want to get to Curran. Going very, very close to the track limits on exit. You know, you just have a slight lift and you might be able to get away with it, but no, makes a mistake. They could still try and get this lap done. A 10th down. Are they going to decide to back off? Or are they going to still go for it? I don't quite know. We'll have to wait and see. They could, in theory, back off. I reckon what they might be doing is waiting until the second sector, see what the lap time's looking like, and then they'll determine whether they should keep going or just save a little bit. That is the question. We won't know until later on. They're going to have to abort this one and go again very, very shortly, of course. We have the likes of Mizzy. There's a lot of traffic here, actually. A lot of traffic, cars up ahead. That's the Alfa Romeo Emilio Matti, who is on a lap as he makes a mistake, and he's going to have to let everyone go now. We've got Benjamin, both Red Bulls so close to get as well on track, so we've got a lot of cars going to be maybe having troubles, but no, Larlock, Reese retires from the session. Reese retiring in the pit lane, but Larlock actually on track as they lose it before turn 15. So that is an interesting one for sure, as that is Mizzy making a mistake on our screens as he exits his turn 1, and that's immediately their qualifying done. They will finish in P4 or lower, of course. 24.1 is the time to beat. They've got a nice gap between them and the rest of the field, so they have a very, very good buffer here. Heisha, of course, waiting to go one more time, and there we go. Curran, no, he's just started that lap time, of course, and it just told us that he went another 4/10 quicker, but he didn't. It was just his final lap here.
Yeah, Cohen on his final lap now. We always know he's very quick around qualifying. In the race, he's able to replicate that pace. Coming through the first sector, he's a 10th down though. He's a 10th down. Now looking back at Heischler, there's a couple seconds ahead. Oh, there's a Haas in the wall. Well, that's not very good. Anyway, along with Heischler, and he's also a 10th down in the first sector. Maybe the track's getting a bit too cool, and maybe the tyres are being a bit compromised by that. Now, Cohen coming through the middle sector now. He really needs to hook it up here. Second gear, third gear, and get it nicely smooth on the exit. And now he's going to push with the DRS, the ERS. He's going to use everything. He's going to be pushing to the limits. As you come through into the last sector roundabout now, we're going to see the delta here. He's down a 10th again. He's lost a couple hundreds. And obviously we're going to look back at Heisler now, and he's going to be about 10 seconds behind. We're going to wait and see what his sector times are, but it's not looking good for them at the moment. He's also another 10th down. They can't find pace in the last bit of qualifying. Coming through the last corners now, Larlock is really pushing the car here, almost losing the back end as we see. and then coming through the last 2 corners. There's a Mercedes in the way, should be fine though. Coming through the last corner now, up to the line, and improved by 400s. Larlick a 23.420, and Highshlar I think went to the pit lane retired. So it's going to be Cohen on pole with Highshlar in second and Robbo in P3.
Yeah, well done everyone. That is qualifying over, and Larlick has gone for a very nice pole position right there. I'm joking. Cohen, well done. Good job to them. In the Williams, that is another one, another front row start as well. Cohen, Heichler in P2, then we have Robbo in P3. This is the rest of the grid. Then we're going to quickly skim through the race director, just in case we need to later on, and then we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's gonna get it into turn 1? Little bit of a delay, but Heichler on the inside. Will he be able to take advantage of that? I don't think so. Cohen gets a perfect start. Awesome job for him. There's contact with the Ferrari, and the Mercedes goes round. I don't believe it. Very different trajectories causes issues, and that's Benjamin round cars off. There's a DNF from the Haas straight out of the box, and a safety car surely going to be deployed after that one. I do not believe it. Lime Walker has an issue. Gilly also down the order, of course, because of that spin. Reese has stayed in. Doesn't seem to have any damage right now. I think Ben might have got away with a spin because he, I think, ghosted soon enough, but that is a full safety car, and I don't know what happened there, but initially contact with Mizzy and Gilly into turn 1 as they had very, very different lines going in. It was never going to work, but that was a very interesting one. I don't know if you saw anything, Zingy.
Yeah, obviously I've seen the Gilly and Mizzy incident. That was not very good, because now Benjamin's P10 and Gilly's P12. I believe so near the back there was a free wide moment which caused a bit of carnage, and that's why some people went off towards the back. And at the front, Robbo also went off, so I think he must have been avoiding the Mizzy incident. And then Ben spotted at turn 3, and I don't really know what happened. It all kind of just happened at once, but thankfully there's a safety car to calm everything down. Not too many people got damage, I think, although I did see a lot of debris. Oh no, Rotorn has got damage, has he? Oh! Yeah. That's why I've seen so much debris. I didn't think many people had damage. Oh no, never mind. I've been corrected. This is Vale, Rotorn, Niffle, Robbo. Who else is going to win? Ben's coming in. So Ben he definitely does have damage. He wouldn't come in any other situation unless he's going to come in from the hards, which I find very silly. No, he's going mediums.
So you can do a double medium. You can do a medium, soft, or soft, medium. So it's not all over, obviously. You just have to make sure that you're starting on that hard tyre to try and go later on. So I want to look at the tyre situation for these guys right now, just in case. So on to the medium tyre for everyone except from this is Vale. They're going to have to try and go all the way to the end. Flying Walker also interesting strategy going for the softs. maybe going to try and preempt some other issues a little bit further down the line. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But yeah, this is going to try and go long, and unless they've chosen the harder tyre allocation, they started on the mediums. But yeah, everybody else on that medium tyre, they can pit again for another set of mediums and carry on, of course, on a pretty normal strategy. So luckily, this circuit, it's not too bad to have a lap 1 crash on. You're just going to have troubles later on, of course, with the slightly worn tyres, but it's not the worst problem in the world.
You said Flying Walker was on soft, right? Wow. I mean, that's a Robbo type of strategy. Which isn't an insult. Like, don't get me wrong. Robbo's made some mad strategies work in the past. So maybe Flying Walker's strategy here is to potentially get on the field, maybe pray for another safety car when he's about like P7 or 6, if he gets that far, and then pit and go to the end of the race. Because it could be a very, very crucial part of the race for Flying Walker, you know. He's got all the opportunity to do well. As Reese, I thought Reese was in the pits, so I know is a bit swapping up positions on the safety car, which isn't ideal. This is Vale. This is Vale's back in. I think he's realised what everyone else is doing. You're gonna have like 1% fresher mediums, so does that go for something?
It could be, but I think you'd still have to go again. I think it's still probably worth doing so. All very, very close to the wall on exit. Hopefully they don't have damage from that pit lane. It's very tricky to get out of the pit lane, I will say, but they're still going to have to make another pit stop, but at least they'll be in sync with everybody else. So still, it's not the worst problem in the world. We're gonna probably go racing at the end of this lap. I'm just gonna try and sort a couple things, so I will be personally right back, but I'll, of course, Thingy can carry on here. Yeah,
so as stated, Cohen's on the medium tyres. He stayed out. So Heish has also stayed out. You got everyone in the top 6. Well, it doesn't really matter because the tyres are similar in condition anyway, but the people that have pitted, some of them won't have to pit again, considering, well, Niffle started on hard, I'm pretty sure Rotorn did also. I will check if it allows me to. It's not allowing me. Safety car's in this lap. I want to check if Rotorn started. Yeah, he did. He started on the hards. So Rotorn, Niffle, and some other guys are going to go to the end here.
Right.
Or go to get another stop. So, I mean, who is it? I don't know if it's Niffle or Rotorn who's very good in the tyres. I'm not quite sure. One of them are like... It was Rotorn actually. Rotorn was telling me he was very good in his tyres. But anyway, safety car's in this lap.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Cohen once again will lead from the front, and so will Heischler in P2. Nothing's changed for those guys. Larlick, though, up to P3. Still a very good qualifying, and he capitalised on the mistakes further behind. Of course, when will Cohen go for it? At the penultimate corner right now, into the final corner, and he's gone for it. Lovely, lovely stuff. Heischler reacting pretty well. Some twitchy moments. Maybe that is the throttle limiter, possibly. Mildy or Matty looking close to the back of Larlick. Want a challenge to the outside as they go defensive. Larlick into the turn 1, but they have to make a mistake, have to make a correction and lift off. That allows Mizzy to get right there. Reese a bit squirmy on the exit curb, but they are pretty good, and that's a car off. That's the Mercedes. Robbo is out. Robbo is out right away. I don't think that's going to be a safety car because we've just had one. I do not believe that. If they just lost it, maybe the tyres were cold. That is an absolutely a tragedy. I don't believe what just happened there.
Coming into the middle sector now. Is Matty going to look for a move onto the podium places in front of Larlick? No, he's not. He's going to stay behind for now, looking further back. It's getting quite congested back here, but no one's willing to make a move just yet. Someone's going to have to really burn their battery because everyone will be using it at the moment to defend their position. Reese moving out of the slipstream, not moving out of the, making Ben move out of the slipstream, sorry. It's Ben spun! Ben spun, he's touched the curb and he's spun around at the fast left-hander and caught people out. And Matty's also, I think, made a mistake and Mizzy's up into P4, so maybe the tyre's catching some people out as there will be quite a bit colder than what you would expect. And yeah, that's been round, and so is Matty. Matty's also spun at the hotel section. It's not gone well for these two. They're back in 11th and 12th. at least a positive for Ben as he's gained a position, is that's Reese also around. It's like the Spinala season, it's mental.
Domino effect right here. I don't know what's going on. Of course, Ben having to go onto the curve slightly and under braking, it just absolutely kills you. And it's the same for turn 5 right here. So we're going to watch out for that one. It's just the nature of this track, unfortunately. And it might catch out a couple people. Heischler in P2, they've got a bit of a gap, but they are on a hard tyre. So no problems there for them right now. Larlick now has Mizzy right behind, who might want to try and challenge sooner rather than later. Nifo made their way up the order. They could get pressure from Rouleton if Rouleton really wants to go for it. No, they're right behind there, but they're not close enough to actually make a move. The other Red Bull, Flying Walker, right behind this is Vale, but they can't make a move. They need to try and get stuff done on those soft tyres. Mizzy on the outside now into turn 9, going the long way around. It's a drag race. Larlick fast in a straight line, tries to send it back to the inside, but Mizzy, he has the better traction going that wider line, keeping the minimum speed up. He is through. Well done to him.
Yeah, what a move by Mizzy. Used the slingshot of he must have had a bit of warmer tyres, or he must have got a good exit, and he flew past Larlick on the straight. So maybe Larlick isn't the fastest after all, or unless Mizzy just got a good exit. Either or, as he's under pressure, Larlick now from Nifo obviously being very quick, and Nifo on tier. So he's going to try and look for a move at the moment, but he can't seem to do anything. So he's going to have to just wait for now, but he's got Rotorn. Rotorn was very, very quick on F1 previously, so he's going to have to watch out for him as well. So it's a freeway battle for 4th place coming through into turn 5. Will someone look for a move up the inside? It doesn't look like it at the moment. Larlick goes a little bit defensive and moves back to the racing line. TRS is going to be available, so Mizzy will be under pressure from these lot. Coming onto the straight now, Nifo using all his battery, really wants to get past here. He's going to the inside a little bit longer to defend the position, as Mizzy also goes to the inside, but he's going back to the racing line. Oh! What's happened there? He's lagged back exponentially. But it's fine, Nifo's up into P4, I don't know what just happened there. And coming onto the second straight now, he's going to be using a lot of his battery again. You can see the little green light on the wheel that signifies he's blasting the RS. And he's going right around the outside, and Nifo goes up to P3 from being P5 on the previous straight. That is absolutely incredible. And here comes Rotorn. He's putting Larlick under pressure, but he can't seem to find a way through at the moment. He won't go for a move down here, will he? No. He thinks better of it, and he's going to wait. Although, he's going to get the switch back potentially. No, he can't. He needs to wait for now. But he's showing good pace, and Nifo's also pulling away.
Yeah, he needs to be careful, obviously, as a higher tier driver, but also it's so difficult to follow in the dirty air through turns 2 to 3, so they've got to be careful by being in a bit of a train, even if there is a benefit in the second sector, that is. Benjamin goes for fastest lap, as that's a big mistake for Larlick. That allows Rouleton to get close, but Larlick will now lose a lot of time, and that will also possibly cause Rouleton to break away. Rouleton's probably going to have to go for a move into turn 5, but no, they once again back off, and DRS will be available for Larlick. Larlick isn't exactly slow in a straight line, although Rouleton has had a brilliant exit. He just needs to charge through and he'll be good to go. And it would be probably wise for Larlick to let him go, because now there's a car slotting in between the train. Of course, further behind we have This Is Vale and Gilly switching positions. He's going to let This Is Vale go through. This Is Vale right behind Larlick. Might go for a second move already. If he possibly can, is he going to try and push for it? No, I think he's going to have to back off. The exit was good, but it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, this is Vale, and the Gilly having a little battle. Gilly tried to get the under and over on him, but he just seemed to get a very good exit Vale, as we see Benjamin overtaking the Red Bull for P9, as we also see Larlick having a great battle, but now he's spun. Maybe his tyres were getting a bit overheating behind the cars that were obviously ahead of him, so Larlick pushing, and then he pushed a bit too much, and that's what caused the tyres to overheat.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. Rouleton really, really close to the back of the Mercedes, and also Gilly, of course, fairly close. They just need to stay in the train, of course. It's pretty difficult with their style of setup. Once again, style of setup, I have mentioned it. Rouleton, though, right behind. They get a very, very good turn 2, and now into turn 4. So turn 3, they got a very good turn. But now out of turn 5. DRS available. No DRS available for Mizzy. Niffo also is very, very close to the back of Heischler, so they might go for a move as well. We could get 2, and that is Matty retiring voluntary on the circuit on lap 8. I don't think that's going to cause a safety car. No moves except from Rouleton, of course, making that move ahead of Mizzy, but that is an interesting one. I didn't see what happened there with Matty.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That's very unfortunate. He was looking good earlier on in the session. As we look further back now towards, this is Vale and Mizzy. Vale tried to go for a move there, I think, trying to just open the door, but Mizzy's not falling for it. He's smarter than that, and he closed the door. So for now, it's very close. And speaking of close, Heischler and Niffo, the 2 Dutchmen, having a nice little battle for P2 here. Obviously, Niffo going to be a bit faster. I mean, I think Heischler is also an F1 driver now, is he?
No, he's not. He's still a reserve driver. Rouleton is catching, though. Could have a big, big train here.
Yeah, Rouleton is absolutely rapid. He's setting personal best every lap. He's in fresh air, so he's showing that he's got the pace. But when we get to DRS, though, that's the important thing. Is Flying Walker comes into the pits. As my game size I say it. Oh no! Heischler's in the wall. He's spun. The tire's not providing him enough grip whatsoever, and he's in the wall. I don't know what happened there. I think it's just that he lost the car. And there goes Ben up into P. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a nasty one. Front wing lost. Somehow they're still in this race. I would say that is a lucky crash, even though it's not the best situation to be in. Niffo now makes that move. Rouleton. So this is Vale maybe challenging with Mizzy. No, they made the move on Mizzy, of course. My bad there. Rouleton does get a second dose of DRS. Now, this is Vale. Doesn't have the DRS, but he's absolutely rapid. Going to try and catch up to the top 2. If he can on outright pace, brilliant. But if not, Rouleton and Niffo might start fighting a little bit later on. Meanwhile, Cohen is just on his own right now. He hasn't seen anyone for pretty much this entire race. Is doing an amazing job, and he's on a pretty standard strategy. So yeah, it's good news for him at the moment. But that's this is Vale ahead. But they have split up the train, so they've got a lot of work to do into Sector 1 if they can try and get to that DRS zone. At the moment, it looks like they possibly can. Mizzy in P5 and Gilly in P6 there, having their little battle at the moment as well. This is Vale absolutely pushing. I want to say quickly to everybody on stream right now, I do apologise for the lags that the cars are currently experiencing on the circuit. It might be a track-specific thing, because I haven't really seen it too much on other circuits, but I have seen it a lot on this circuit, so I do apologise. Rouleton now going to be very, very close to Niffo. There's going to be no double DRS for him. Will he be quick enough in a straight line to try and challenge? No, he will not. I think he's going to have to wait until the next lap to get a little bit closer. Gilly won't be close enough to Mizzy, although I would like to see a comparison as we head on to the next straight between these two.
You said say Rouleton was close enough, but he's going for the move now. Which way is he going to go? Left, right? He decides to go left. Rouleton and Niffo lets Rouleton by, and he's going to be up into P2. Rouleton showing exceptional paces. Niffo goes a bit deep there and hits the back of the Ferrari, which wouldn't have been ideal. Rouleton loses the back end, and thankfully he's kept it in a straight line. But for now, Rouleton's up into P2 and Niffo is now down to P3. But now he can save his battery, use the DRS, and maybe catch up to Cohen. Cohen. Yeah,
they definitely a DRS train is very, very powerful around this circuit. So if they can try and get that done, that'll help a lot. And as I was saying, Rouleton's pretty good in the straight line usually anyway, so they might not even need to switch positions. It might just be Rouleton leading the way. 1.6 seconds is the gap. He was the fastest on time trial, only by a small margin, but he is the fastest man on track, as of statistics would say recently. So Niffo right behind, going to get a big advantage from this, and Cohen might get a bit of trouble. He's just got to be smart about this so he doesn't lose it. He's got currently 1, 2, 3 higher tier drivers until Mizzy, who he is fighting. So he's got a very nice gap. He doesn't need to risk anything in particular.
Yeah, I mean, I've just checked the gap to the leader. I've changed it, and it's 5.5 seconds Cohen has got to the nearest 1.5 driver, which is absolutely incredible. 11 laps in. I mean, they're on the same lap of tyres, but Cohen's just shown exceptional pace, and even with that lower downforce setup that we know he loves, he's still showing good pace in the corners as well, so he's been very complete at the moment. As he loses the car there, I'm going to shut up. My apologies. Wow, that was very close to a catastrophe. Yeah, I'll just pass it on to you before I say anything too bad.
Yeah, good job there for Cohen. Gilly in P6 at the moment. They're staying with Mizzy at the moment. Obviously, I do want to try and see a bit of comparison on straight line speed, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Benjamin, he's pretty much been stuck, as far as I've seen so far, stuck in the 3-second mark at the moment. Of course, the DRS, he's not in it, so it's just painful to try and catch back up. You push so hard in other parts of the circuit and then you lose it all again. So in a bit of a tricky situation at the moment. We could possibly see Nifo go for a move on Rillaton because they are very, very close to the DRS of Cohen at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see. Is it going to be an opportunity for Nifo? Is he even going to bother trying it? He closes, but he won't be closing enough to go for any kind of move. Gilly is rapid in a straight line, not really closing as much as I would have thought, at least aesthetically, or visually I should say. Nifo, once again, close, but not really close enough to make a move, and it doesn't look like they're really bothered at pushing. At the moment, they can harvest all their energy and save it for a little bit later. Harsha unfortunately makes another mistake.
Yeah, I think at this moment in the race, people are starting to calm down a bit, and they're going to try and just conserve the tyres. And pit stops, actually, pit stops are going to be happening soon. In the F1 race, I want to just say, Rotorn on the medium tyres pitted at lap 11, and when I pitted, I had 11 laps to go. So, according to what I know, the pit stops are going to be happening soon. And yep, like I just said, and Cohen's into the pit lane. He's the first to react, and now he's going to lose the lead. But he's going to get those harder tyres up to temperature quicker, which might become a good play later on if he can manage to keep it good around the corners. And then obviously he's going to have that straight line speed advantage. So we'll have to wait and see what the strategy unfolds for him.
Yeah, so the advantage he has, he hasn't given anyone DRS behind, so they're not going to get any advantage from him by doing so. I was going to say the only risk by pitting early is that you might get traffic, but he's so far ahead that he was able to pit into clean air. I say that, it doesn't really make any sense. He has just found a nice spot for him to be able to pit, and he's 11 seconds behind Benjamin, and there's absolutely loads of time to wait for a good pit stop. Everybody is on the medium tyre, so they're going to have to pit at some point soon. This Vale can pit a little bit later than everyone else, which might be an advantage, of course, later on into the race. But yeah, Cohen, he just needs to put some laps in here, not take any risks, because he's in clean air, and he's going to be going to the end of the race. The undercut that he does have at this stage might not be that beneficial if these guys go into the pit lane and they've got their little DRS thing going on.
Yeah, coming into the pit lane, I presume now. Oh, Nifo doesn't try to go into the pit lane, but he loses the back end, and it almost looked like he was trying to drift it into the pit lane now. Wow, what a save by Nifo. And yeah, he's kept it in the straight line as Mizzy. Mizzy's now coming into the pits. He's going to be reacting to Cohen's strategy. Of course, he's going to be behind because he was about 6 seconds behind, sorry. But he realised that maybe the tyres weren't keeping up as much. It's at lap 14. We're doing half the race on the medium tyres. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's particularly too unheard of course, because everybody either made a pit stop or we had the safety car, so we could extend a little bit. Once again, a little bit of lag, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Everybody going to try and either stay out and hope for a bit of a safety car, and of course, the further you go into a race with the tyres getting older and older, the in theory, higher chance of a safety car happening. So it's not the worst idea to try and stay out. There's a theory behind it, of course. But, yeah, I don't know if it really gains you that much time by staying out any longer other than that, really. Yeah, you're going to get an undercut, but only if you do that a couple laps earlier before the pit window. And then you might lose it later on. No one, I really see at the moment, went for that alternate strategy. Yes, Heisler did, but they spun, unfortunately, and that definitely caused them a couple issues. So Yeah, no one went for that alternate strategy, and that just means it's going to be a little bit different. I say that though, this is Vale did make that pit stop, didn't they?
Yeah, from the hards onto the medium tyres as Vale went. Now looking at the tyres visually, I know this is Vale's is 1 lap fresher, but in comparison to Nifo and Rollatorn, his tyres, at least from what I can see, look better. So maybe he could go to the soft tyres at the end, because his tyres are looking really fresher than everyone else. So my argument is that maybe not only the Vale, but maybe some people in the top 5 might try and go for that soft tyre and push it really hard to the end.
Yeah, it's possible, definitely, I think, but it really depends if you have a setup to do, for that, of course. And it also depends if they think that they can stay up to pace with an old set of medium tyres that would justify a set of soft tyres, or if they're going to just go for that medium tyre against the hard tyre. Now, I do want to double check a couple of things just on pit stops. Everybody's made a pit stop anyway, so if Rullaton, Nifo, Gilly and Benjamin also pitted or started the race on the hard tyre, they can actually just do exactly the same thing with this Vale. This Vale does have that advantage, of course, as you were saying, to possibly go for that different strategy. So yeah, that could be worth a risk. I thought these guys didn't actually pit, but my bad, I remember they actually did, of course, with all the issues at the beginning. He does still have an advantage. The time penalty-wise situation suggests not.
Yeah, you don't really get a time penalty around here. It's actually kind of hard to get a time penalty. Personal experience speaking, I find it very difficult to get a time penalty. Now, actually, looking back on board with the top 2, is Niffle going to go for a move this time? No, he's not. He's going to stay behind, and he's going to lock up frantically, and he's going to go off track, and he's going to get 3 seconds, and he's going to lose the car, and now he's going to lose DRS. Oh dear, Niffle's had a terrible 2 corners there. I'm sorry, I was about to say that Niffle's going to get a good exit and overtake him in the straight, but that's completely contradicted what I was going to say. I'm sorry, Niffle.
It might be time for a pit stop. Those tyres are looking very, very old. And locking up, of course, into a couple of corners even before this lap. So, yeah, the tyres are extremely difficult to manage. I think where the time penalties are coming otherwise from what Nifo just did is probably on the exit of turn 13 into 14. Because you try and push it as hard as you can. Yep, this is Vale and Nifo, as expected, going into the pit lane. This is Vale. I'm surprised they didn't try and extend it a little bit more. They can still make a move here on Nifo in theory, and now the time penalty situation might be a little bit different if Nifo doesn't get this one removed. We'll have to wait and see. They do opt for that medium tyre. They have a fresh set of softs later on, just in case if they need it. But yeah, I don't know. With a time penalty and the gap that they had, it might have been worth a risk. Cohen will get a lovely undercut because these guys stayed out a fair while longer than I actually expected compared to when Cohen pitted. So he does get a very, very good gap by doing so. So he might be able to take this win on track.
Yeah, and also remember, although the medium tyres don't really get affected as much by the cold temperatures, he still will gain a couple extra tenths. So that gap may actually grow to 6 seconds. Is looking back at the front, what's Rotorn's gap to the next stopped car? It's 15 seconds and then 21 to Niffle, sorry. So, actually, never mind, that's dropping very quickly. Rotorn's going to have to act now. Rotorn's really going to have to pit this lap, realistically, because there's no way that if he pits the next lap, he's going to overcut them. Coming for the last corner now, he's really struggling on the tyres. He's lifting going into the penultimate corner. I know he was going into the pit lane, but he's really struggling. He really needs to pit. Those tyres must have just died off right at the last second, and now he's going to lose an abundance of time.
Yeah, he's possibly going to lose track position, although with Nifo making that mistake, he might just have it. Also, Nifo and this is Vale are quite close together, so they might slow each other down by doing so. Benjamin reacts as well to Rullaton going into that pit lane. Exiting the pit lane, was that a red flashing light on the back of the car? No, it was just because they were in the pit lane, so my bad there. They do jump him. It was close, but it was enough. It was enough. I'm a little bit shocked by that, but it is what it is. He's going to be right in the DRS train, so that will help him with the cold tyres because he'll be able to gain a lot, and he'll also be right behind another car which will heat up his tyres just that little bit more.
It won't be too much like we've seen previously when his tyres heat up and you can spin. Otherwise, actually, never mind that. This is Vale going for a move on Niffle. Niffle was reluctant to overtake earlier on, but this is Vale showing that he wants to get past, coming through into the second DRS right now. ERS is going to be deployed for this as Vale. He's burning it. He's using everything he can, and he's going to go down the inside of Niffle, coming into the fast left-hand world. Niffle will battle it. He tries to, around the outside, and then here comes Rollatorn. He's putting his nose down the inside. He's going to get the much shallower exit, but he can't do anything about it at the moment. So now Niffle's down to P3, and Rollatorn is lingering in P4, maybe looking for a chance if one of these two make a mistake, and potentially he can make an overtake.
Yeah, he definitely has everything going for him right now, of course, with no time penalties. Niffle's is questionable. I'm not saying it will get taken away, but it is questionable. That's not to say that this is Vale, his time penalty isn't questionable either. Goes for fastest laps, lovely stuff for them, but Rollatorn right now is still in a good position. I know you don't want to be in a train at this circuit, but if Niffo does go for a move, you can in theory go for a double overtake because of the double DRS straight, one after another, so that's going to be something to consider. Oh, he sent it as Niffo makes a mistake. Very well spotted. That is Rollatorn into the P3 position, and he gets DRS as well. Very, very nicely timed there for Rollatorn as well. Niffo will be able to stay with this, so their mistake wasn't too costly after all. But Rollatorn, who seems to have the pace advantage from earlier on, is now going to be trying their best to hunt down this as well. This as well does enough, just about, to escape the DRS, and this could be their chance here. Yeah,
it could be this chance for this as Vale to pull away. But remember, he's on a little bit older tyres. He's on 2-lap older tyres, so maybe that will affect him a little bit as he goes very wide coming out of the fast left hand. I don't know what that was. Maybe just a bit of a mistake. The gap's now 9-10, so Rollatorn's really going to have to push. But the gap keeps dropping and extending. We don't know what's going to happen. Rollatorn really having to push the limits here, nearly going off track. Yeah, going through the hotel section and coming into the last few corners now. This is Vale showing some very good pace over these last few races, and it's coming into fruition as he sets a fast lap, 1:10 faster than Rollatorn actually, so maybe that move cost him a bit of time. However, coming on to in the first sector now, he's going to have to push like a lion, and he's pushed a bit too much and he's lost the back end, and here comes Niffle, and he's made the move. Rollatorn, is he going to be getting DRS off of Niffle? He's not. No, he is. Sorry, he got it.
Just about. So close. It didn't quite update in time, so I wasn't really sure what was happening. But now Niffo loses the DRS for good. For this as well, they have to push if they want to go for it again. I do wonder, has this as well been pushing on the energy to try and go for that fastest lap? We'll see if we can find a flashing light on the back of their car or not. I don't quite know, but look at the pace for the medium tyre against that hard tyre. I was thinking that Cohen could have possibly fought it on track, but with the F1 drivers having that superior tyre, it's going to be extremely difficult. They could still have a chance here, of course, with that time penalty, but it wouldn't even be worth it. They're higher tier drivers. You're going to get the points anyway. Cohen really wants to try and fight for the championship with the championship leader, and P1 and 2 actually in P6 and 7. So he will gain a massive amount of points if he just takes this.
Yeah, Gilly and Ben are really struggling in P6 and 7. They're actually in a little train of themselves, keeping to themselves, should I say. Just in a little pack, a couple of seconds away from everyone else. P6 and 7, as you previously mentioned. And Benjamin, is he going to look for a move coming through the first sector now? He's going to try and really send it. Gilly, obviously, with that lower downforce, is going to be struggling a bit. Coming into turn 5. Is Ben going to look for a move? No, he's far too far back. He's thinking much better of it. He's going to get the better exit, and he's going to lose the car a little bit, but he keeps on with the traction, and he gets a really nice exit. Coming onto the DRS straight now, I don't think he's going to go for a move. He might try and compromise Gilly's lane coming into the chicane now. And he does, he's going for the move down the inside. Gilly's going to get ahead, behind, sorry, but he's going to get the DRS, but he's been pinched to the inside. Ben playing that exceptionally well, and now Gilly's 7-8 tenths behind, as this is Vale and Cohen are having a battle. Cohen's made a mistake, and this is Vale's up into the lead. Gilly can't make it back on Benjamin, so within a lap, Benjamin gets ahead of Gilly, and Cohen's championship rival Vale has got ahead of him as well, so it's all changing at the moment.
Yeah, Gilly really needs to get back past Ben if they want to try and get back into the championship fight, of course. Ben does still have a very good buffer. Despite Cohen leading at the moment, Cohen has to do a really good job. He has to pretty much win every single race, and Ben would have to finish, what is it, like P4 or something? Every single race, and with Ben's run that he's had in recent times, it's pretty good. And if you look at it, actually, Cohen, current tier driver, then you have Mizzy, then Ben. So Ben is in P3. It's not enough right now. Gilly has to make this move for their own sake and for Cohen's sake, as that's side by side with Ruleton and Nifo. Ruleton makes the move on the AlphaTauri. They've got it done. That is the fine. Walker, unfortunately, having a slight issue as Nifo struggles onto the curb a little bit, but they do have the DRS. They're going to be able to catch back up. Ruleton going to try and challenge Cohen sooner rather than later, and if he can challenge Cohen, he will possibly be able to break DRS from Nifo, if he plans it right, that is.
Yeah, these guys have been battling all race, and I'm pretty sure Ruleton would love to see Nifo long gone. It's been an intense battle. It's been great to watch, but for the driver's point of view, oh no, Cohen! Oh my god, my apologies. It's recent spun. I thought that Cohen spun. I seen a blue car.
That was a close score. Code blue. That was a very close score. Reese, unfortunately, making another mistake. He can still get points as long as he finishes this race. So he just needs to get to the end, of course, and then he'll be good to go. But Nifo, very close to losing the DRS right here. Ruleton, so close. No, they've retired in the pit lane. Just giving it all away. I don't believe it. Okay, well, there you go. I guess that's it. DRS available, as they will now make the move on Cohen. Cohen doesn't need to fight it. I don't see why he would. The advantage, as I was going to say, Ruleton could possibly break away from Nifo by doing so. That's if Nifo doesn't make the move. I thought Nifo could have made the move, but he makes a mistake, loses the car, will get the DRS, but it's not enough to be able to make a move, and that is definitely going to cause issues because Ruleton will have clean air going into that final sector, whereas Nifo will not.
Yeah, Nifo not having a great run as things stand, and P4 at the moment with that time penalty, which means Cohen's going to ease him, no matter if he gets ahead or not. Cohen's going to be easily being able to keep him within the 3 seconds, as he's got the DRS of Ruleton. But actually, now that I'm saying that, Nifo must have heard me or something. He must have been like, oh, I think he's talking rubbish again. Anyway, he's picked up the pace and he's all over the back of Cohen now. So, coming onto the straight now, obviously he's not going to go for a move here, but he's going to psych himself up for turn 5, maybe send it on him and get the DRS simultaneously. Then maybe that could also slingshot him onto Ruleton. But that's very ambitious for him to do, and coming through the first few corners now, he's got an alright run, but he's not going to use his battery, nor is Cohen, and he's just going to have to wait for now. Getting a nice wide run, he's going to cut to the inside as quickly as he possibly can, get the power down smoothly, using a bit of his battery, but so is Cohen. Remember, Cohen is known for having quite a lot of straight line speed, likewise is Gilly, but for now, Cohen's straight line speed is just about keeping it in play, but he's going to back off and Nifo's going to move up into P3, but he's gone wide. Nifo's gone wide and coming through into the second DRS straight with Cohen. He's got the DRS on Nifo. Is he going to use his battery? It doesn't look like it for the moment, but he's getting so much time on the Dutchman, and he's not going to go for a move. He's not going to go for a move. He decided to stay back, and he's not going to go for it. So maybe he's going to waste Nifo's ERS, because it looks like it's flashing at the moment.
He doesn't need to go for the move. If he can stay with Nifo, he'll be able to get the advantage, of course, on the time penalties. But once again, for him, the championship is a lot more important. He's got a massive gap to the cars behind. If, in theory, he could stay with the DRS and push, then he might be able to go for a fresh set of tyres. But you need about, what was it, like 21 seconds ahead of everybody else, so it's very, very unlikely to be able to do that. And if he does make a mistake, which might allow Cohen to stay within DRS, but other than that, he doesn't need to fight it. Nothing at risk here. Benjamin is catching to Mizzy, so he might be able to make a move sooner rather than later. By the time he gets there, the question is, will his tyres be dead? I don't quite know, but he should still have a very, very good chance at 1, making the move, and 2, securing it.
Yeah, Benjamin, obviously, he's in P3 for the F1.5 drivers at the moment, I believe. Yeah, I'm correct there. I just have to check myself up there. And he's going to be looking for P2, right? Mezzi's got a penalty. We don't know if that's true or not. We'll have to check after the race. But it's obviously it's nicer to get it on track. It feels much better. Makes you feel good about yourself. And making that overtake will give him a very good confidence boost going on. But for now, he is catching, but he's making a little bit of mistake at the time. He's making a mistake in catching, so it's very difficult for him at the moment. And he just needs to catch that extra 10th that he's not able to find. Oh no, Mezzi spun! I'm talking about finding extra 10th. Mezzi pushing the limits, and he spun the car around, coming out the fast left hand. That he must have either overheated the tyres or just pushed a bit too much. There's a little bit of a bump on the inside there, and that may have what caused him using the car and spinning around. So Benjamin's up into P2, and Mizzy's lost so much time, about 6-7 seconds, and now he's down to P4.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible. Not that you want to see your competitors spinning out, but this guy is going to be pretty happy at the moment, of course. He is now in P2. Yes, Cohen will have a 4-point advantage, of course, as we have a different point system here, but a 4-point advantage that it isn't enough for Cohen to be able to try and challenge for that title, of course. Having quite a few DNSs, Cohen, at the start of the season, it really has made it extremely difficult for him to come back. So Benjamin, he's done a very good job at the start of the season, very consistent throughout the entire thing, and at the moment he just needs to keep doing what he's doing. At this stage, he doesn't need to risk anything. He's been pulling a gap to Gilly quite nicely, so as long as he doesn't get a time penalty, he will be able to secure that P2.
Yeah, Ben's doing all he can at the moment. Mike Cohen's 11 seconds up the road and getting the DRS from another medium runner of Niffle. So, the issue is for Ben, he's not going to be able to catch. I mean, that's basically out of the question unless Cohen makes a drastic mistake, which heavily compromises the race. However, Cohen just needs to keep it calm, and I reckon he'll get this win. Benjamin is pulling away from Gilly. As I say that, I think he does make a bit of a mistake. The gap drops from 2.4 to 1.8. So Gilly maybe just trying to psych himself up for the last few laps. Battery-wise, it does look like they're very similar. But at the moment, Ben's is able to control it. So without a shadow of a doubt, he's got this in the bag, you know.
Yeah, Lalek disconnecting. Hopefully we can get that back in. Of course, this should be alright either way. Benjamin, as I was saying, he did make a mistake at turn 14, but Gilly, he's catching. If he wants to try and challenge, he would have to absolutely dump the battery, which it seems like he's maybe not doing, but he probably did use it just a little bit to try and catch up to Benjamin. Let's see if they can possibly go for a move on the final few laps. It is very, very possible if Ben makes another mistake, of course, that is. It will be right with us. Now, with the tyres getting to the final stages of their lives, that does make it extremely difficult in that final sector, as Ben made that mistake in turn 14. So that is a corner that we need to watch out for, of course. This starts the penultimate lap of the race. Ruleton is still there. Of course, this has that time penalty, so it looks like he's going to take it on time penalties. This doing a phenomenal job on track, though, right now. Nifo and P3, they still have Cohen right behind in that DRS range, so Cohen might want to go for a bit of track glory later on, but he's just about lost that DRS range, so maybe I will have to shut up there, and unfortunately for Cohen, he won't be able to catch up, but good news for Nifo?
He got it somehow. I think he might have just outbraked himself a little bit. And because the DRS detection point is at the braking zone. So he's actually played it very well there. I think he lost a little bit of time on exit, but he's done it. Cohen using his head there. Very logical. As Niffle makes a mistake coming out of the chicane, so he's gonna lose a lot of time. And then the gap's dropped from 9 to 4 tenths. He's gonna be absolutely furious with himself.
Gonna try and possibly make a move. Oh, not into turn 9. Gonna wait for it. Heischer retiring very, very prematurely. Doesn't want any points in the end. It is a shame, but it is what it is. Cohen now got one more lap to try and go for this move. Would he go for a Max Verstappen style move? Rouleton makes a mistake. They get themselves a 3-second, and it's looking more and more likely to be Vitesvel's victory. Actually, Vitesvel does also extend the gap a little bit, and by a lot as well. So they are now going to really go for that win regardless, of course. So really well done for them. We'll have to go and check them out in a little while. Benjamin and Gilly. Gilly is catching, but is it going to be enough to get him the DRS and crucially let him fight for that final move? I don't quite know. Cohen loses the DRS in that final sector. Nifo's pushing. You can see in the distance there, red light is flashing, so he's going to be slow in a straight line. I don't think it would be slow enough for Cohen to be able to catch. He's pretty low on that ERS though as well. Now, Benjamin, Gilly, is he going to be able to do anything about it? Gilly has to use all the ERS on this straight to be able to challenge on the next one. I don't think it's going to be possible. It's going to be such a big ask. Or maybe a mistake from Benjamin. He has to dump it now. It's now or never. On into turn 6. Is it going to work? No. Benjamin actually extends the gap on Gilly in a straight line. That's pretty impressive. Gilly's flashing on the rear. They don't have anything left. And Benjamin can now focus on escaping. That's absolutely amazing. This guy, though, is the guy to watch at the end. He's gapped him by even more. That is absolutely incredible. This is Vel comes around the final few corners and he's gonna win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Rouleton will take P2 and Nifo will get that P3. Cohen will get it on time penalties, but Cohen wins for the F1.5 EU Championship. That is really, really well done to him. That's what he needed to do, and that will be Benjamin taking that P2. Just got a final corner to go through and he will secure it. Very, very well done to this guy. A terrible start, but a great finish. Gilly in P6, Mizzy in P7. Larlock and Flying Walker will follow behind Mizzy. Not going to be happy with that one, but at least it's points.
Got a little question for you. Do you think Flying Walker will get the fastest lap?
Possible on the softer tyre. Is it going to be significant enough to go for it? If he doesn't get it, it might still be fastest for the F1.5 drivers. It's possible. We'll have to wait and see, of course. So he's could still get it even if it doesn't pop on our screen, because that's if a higher tier driver currently holds it. I don't know who holds it.
This is Vil.
So yeah, it will not be counted with this is Vale's fastest lap, even if he goes for it now. Let's see what you can do. It's not fastest overall, but it still might be for the F1.5 Championships.
He got it.
He got it. Okay, fair enough. Well done to him. An extra point at the very end on debut. Lovely stuff. Now, this is Vale returns to the top step, and Cohen does manage to hold on to the overall podium in the end. So great job to them. This is Vale wins, Rouleton in P2, then we have Cohen in P3, Nifo, Benjamin, Gilly, Mizzy, Larlock and Flying Walker finishes off the grid. DNFing was Heischler, Reese 4000, Mil Diamati, Robbo and Javi at the very, very beginning of this race. It's really a big shame to not be able to see them, of course, on their debut. They didn't really make it past the first sector, so it was such a shame, but always next week to get a bit of redemption. We will be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to the post-race interviews of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. That was a long race for sure. Benjamin, I know it was a tough one and there was some definitely quite a big issue at the start, but for the F1.5 drivers you go and take P2, which does mean you have a bit of damage limitation to Cohen, of course. Are you overall happy with that one in the end?
Yeah, it was alright. So I was kind of racing Gilly throughout, so that was my really only objective.
Yeah.
To catch Gilly. Then everybody else just spun around, so
Yeah.
worked out in favour.
So the DRS train before the pit stops was pretty painful, I guess, but after that you...
Oh yeah, man, that was a pain in the backside. I would catch like 2-3 times, and then it would just zip away down the straights.
Yeah, that's unfortunately the nature of the 22 game. It seems to be significantly more compared to the last game. But yeah, still great job, damage limitation, and you're doing everything you need for this championship right now. France is the next circuit on the list. Do you like that circuit? No. Cool.
It's rubbish.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, it might be better for the game. It might be better in the game compared to real life. So we'll maybe not put it down right away. But yeah, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Not too shabby.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Heisler. Heisler, looking so good on the superior strategy, way up there, and just a moment after, was it the restart or just a little bit later on? I can't quite remember.
Yeah, well, I was looking good on the ultimate strategy, but the safety car already ruined that. So that plan I could throw out of the window, and I spun a few laps after the restart on the turn 3 curb.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say. It's just a shame that you weren't in the battle, of course, because it would have been nice to see how the strategy would have worked out. But still, you had good pace.
I think Cohen still would have won.
Fair enough. You still had good pace. Yeah, at least we know that for sure. France, do you prefer that circuit over... I know you said you're not going to be there, but do you prefer the circuit over Abu Dhabi in comparison?
Well, good news. I will be there on Saturday.
Fair enough.
I've changed my plans, so I will be there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think I like the circuit. I've not really driven it that much on this game, but last game it was good for me.
Hopefully it can be a bit better than today, though. It deserves some good results soon. Other than that, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Turn 3 curb.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
We move on to Gilly. Gilly, turn 1 made it quite difficult. Then we went further into the race. You were absolutely loving the DRS train, although it was a little bit lonely for a while. Benjamin caught up, made the move, tried to catch up at the end, but just wasn't enough. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, after the safety car, I decided to go medium with a lot of other people, and I think that was the right call in the end. But then after that, it was just me watching the Delta against Ben, trying as hard as I can to catch him or pull away from him. But after we pitted, he was so quick out the pit, and I just had nothing. Had nothing.
Yeah.
But later on, I think I could keep up with him a little bit better, but it was gone. He was gone.
Were you saving the ERS to try and go for a bit of a push on the final few laps?
No, I was just pushing the whole time as much as I could, trying to keep up, but I just couldn't.
Fair enough, fair enough. I mean, at least the gap was only 2 points, I guess you can take that. But yeah, still a great effort. You were right in there. France is going to be a great circuit for your style of setup. Are you looking forward to that one?
We'll see. It's one last time in France.
So, not a circuit that you like?
No.
Fair enough, fair enough. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I muted my mic.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on today. And we move on to Mizzy. Mizzy, of course, that turn 1 incident definitely didn't help your race, and it made it very, very difficult later on. After that, it was just recovery. Are you happy with that? You got some good points, so you're not really liking that?
Yeah, so starting position was good, the start was good, turn 1, unfortunately. We had a bit of contact with the Ferrari, so that wasn't really good, but at least I didn't retire this time. So better than usual, but yeah, considering I was running kind of well and then also spun almost coming to the end of the race was also unfortunate, but at least some good points at the back.
Yeah, that's definitely progress, managing to get them for the championship. And I mean, you joined late. You're just trying to improve. You've got nothing to lose at the moment, so it's fair enough. But yeah, still good potential. It's there, but it's just a shame for all the issues, of course. Next one, France. Is that a circuit that you prefer over Abu Dhabi, possibly?
I think it's better. The curves here in Abu Dhabi are deadly, so don't like driving those. But in France, I think the curves are a little bit more drivable, so I prefer that over Abu Dhabi for sure.
Yeah, hopefully we can see you in the battle next time. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Very fun race.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Nifo. Nifo, time penalty got you in the end. Obviously, we saw it. I don't know if it will be taken away or not. I can't really say for sure. But you were in the battle for so long, and then you lost it, of course, as Rillaton made the move in a very strategic place, which allowed them to break away.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of the race, lap 1, was very chaotic. So my front wing went to space. That was fun. So I had to replace, and then, as Gilly said, medium, I think was the best. But on the other side, I had the tire deck was so much worse than I thought. Like I had so many lock-up moments at the turn 3, which might have been just touching the curb, but I didn't feel like I touched the curb.
Right.
But I made a lot of mistakes like that, which really hurt the race time. And then my plan was just stick behind Ruleton, just follow him and gain ERS because I had none. For some reason, I don't know where I spent it. So I was just following him, and then after the pit stops, I undercut him with Phil, who caught up because I made like 2 massive mistakes before the pit stop. And then he made a questionable move. I mean, he touched me in the middle of turn 6. In the middle of turn 6, he touched me, unsettled my car. Then I had a bad exit, and then he just overtakes me. So I don't know. I'll definitely report it. I'll have to see what's going on, what's going to happen with that. Then indeed the cut happened, which I mean I don't think it's a penalty. I mean I lost time. I lost a lot of time. Actually, I lost 5/10 to Ruleton. Then I was following Ruleton. Then I caught Cohen in a bad place, like in the first sector. So I lost a lot of time, and then there was no point in fighting, so I was like, I'll get a penalty removed. So I was just taking it safe, not spinning, because I tend to do that a bit.
Fair enough. I mean, still, you were in the battles for a while, and you managed to get a lovely undercut, which made everything interesting. It's a shame that it went that way. France, do you prefer the track over Abu Dhabi?
I prefer it over Abu Dhabi if it's going to be better for me, especially on Friday. I don't think so, but I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough. It's a shame, but still, potential's there. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Did not spin.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
We move on to Robbo. Robbo, that was tough. Unfortunately, it resulted in a DNF, which I didn't get to see on screen.
Yeah.
Qualifying. It was tough as well. You were in the mid pack, which didn't help either. Although
yeah,
actually, no, you actually got a pretty good start, I think, right?
I actually did the opposite. I was third in quali, and then I had a bad start. Got behind. I think the 3 behind me. They all overtook me before turn 1, and then whatever happened in turn 1 happened in turn 1. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I mean it was a good quali. Not really much to say. At least I completed a few laps. There's a pretty big milestone for me. So that's qualifying for me. And the race, it was going to go all right, and then that happened.
Yeah. So only positives going into France for the next race compared to Abu Dhabi, at least. Do you like the circuit more than this one?
Yeah, I think in contrast to everyone else, I think France is, besides Mizzy, I think France is a really good track, especially strategy-wise. I'm not sure if it's the same in this game, but I remember last year's game, you could, if you had the pace, you could do pretty much any strategy. You could do a 2-stop, a 1-stop, and it would work out. So I always think France is a pretty fun race. There's usually not too many DNFs because of how the walls are placed, which is quite good.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It will definitely make it a lot easier to try and stay out of the walls. You said, one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Desync is rubbish.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. That's been it, and pass it over to Zingy.
Well, thanks for watching that incredible race, everyone. Join us next time on Tuesday for the practice lobbies, as always. And then Friday and Saturday for the LSI Championships around the French Grand Prix, which I'm sure Gilly's absolutely loving himself right now over. Anyway, that's been it from us, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.